welcome to another exciting edition of the Plumbing 101 show. My name is Willem. I'll be your host. Now, in today's episode, we'll be talking about growth within the plumbing industry. Plumbing has become such a natural routine or a daily routine for us that when we think of plumbing, we think of taking a shower, we think of brushing our teeth, flushing the toilet. And then it comes so naturally, it's a second nature to us. We don't realize that plumbing in today's life is nothing short of a miracle. Now, with me today to discuss this subject of growth within the plumbing industry is Mr. Duncan Keil of the UPP Group. Duncan, a warm welcome to you and thanks for joining us.
Welcome, Willem. Nice to see you again.
For sure, it's always nice to see you. All right, so Duncan, today we're talking about growth within the plumbing industry.
Yes.
We're talking about plumbing as as intricate and complex line of work or trade as it is, but also the scope that there is in it for people to grow and reach their potential within the industry. And I think that there's a lot to be said about that. But before we do, let's just go into or cross over to Naomi for some industry-related news. We'll see you right after this.
Hello and welcome to the news. The SAB and Anglo American have delivered a report to address Polokwane's water problems, one of the most populous and economically significant areas in the province of Limpopo is the city of Polokwane's local municipality. Due to the region's water shortage, most of its water supply is supplemented at very high costs through bulk water transfer schemes like the Olifants Sand and Ebenezer Dam systems. Current water balances in the catchment areas of the Limpopo water management are either positive or negative, indicating that future water needs will exceed current supplies. In other news, the future looks bright for two small businesses from Postmasburg. This is after 40 of their employees received technical skills training that will greatly enhance their capacity to carry out complex Anglo-American projects. The training was a component of a new project by Zimele, the Enterprise Development Division of Anglo-American, to strengthen the capacity of regional businesses. Now, these individuals underwent training in manhole construction, painting, paving, and plumbing, and as a result, they have now received their NQF2 and NQF3 certifications. Well, that's it for now. Let's take it back to studio.
Thanks, Stack Naomi, for the latest news of the plumbing industry and about the plumbing industry, and welcome back to our viewers out there. Now, we are continuing our conversation, or actually just kicking off our conversation about growth within the plumbing industry. Plumbing as a trade and the people within it and the potential and the change that plumbing has undergone over the years and those kind of things. Duncan, just a brief introduction to the audience about yourself, and then I'd like for you to just share a little bit of your own journey within the plumbing industry.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Willem. Okay, so as you can see, our company is called UPP Group. Potentially, we are a company of empowerment. So that is our purpose in life. That's the why behind why we do something. And UPP stands for unlocking people's potential, unlocking plumbers' potential. It's a company that is very involved in the sustainability field in terms of water and saving of water. Very passionate about that. And we're very passionate about empowerment and especially women empowerment. So UPP Group is a group because we were plumbers. We started off as Under Pressure Plumbing UPP, but we have evolved and we have grown. So we were a very fixed mindset. We were just about maintenance and we were just about a little bit of construction, stuff like that. But I think over the years you grow, you have a growth mindset. So you move away from fixed and you grow into this, we call it legacy type of growth. And for us at UPP, we're about that. We're all about the UPP flow, we call it, the upflow. And up is always up, and we want to continue doing that in the industry. But I think for us, it's about adding value. You know, it's about taking that value, giving it into the industry, and taking and growing leaders within the industry, and letting those leaders multiply that value into the industry. And the more leaders we have, I think for us, leadership is a key. And eventually, you know, from the UPP Group, we have formed a company called Coach Up. So myself, Man, and I are both coaches. We certified John Maxwell coaches.
I like it.
And we offer coaching to the industry. We take companies and we empower them, but we don't just employ people into the business. We employ them as their company, and we coach them. So we teach them about vision and values. We teach them about processes. We teach them about how to hire people. We teach them about finance. We teach them about traction. We teach them so many things that they don't get to know. We give them empowerment through entrepreneurship. And then what also we do is we take them on as, if you want to call it, subcontractors. So we basically give them projects within the UP Group. We have access to so many different projects, and it could be in the construction, could be in the fit outs, it could be in maintenance, could be commercial maintenance, it could be in the water solutions, water treatment plants, waste treatment plants, saving water, rainwater harvesting, filtration, all of those things that we don't, as small business owners, don't get access to. Because normally guys are just doing geysers, maintenance, residential type of stuff. So what we do with the companies is we bring them on board with us. And we empower them, we teach them how to grow, how to cost, how to do bill of quantities, how to learn how to design, evaluate, analyze, how to monitor, you know, and that's typically what we do as a group. And I think that's the opportunity, that's the empowerment model. It's not just, you know, I send them off and let them go and do a job. They actually get to learn, they get to go to university while they're growing their business, and they get to learn about advertising, marketing, you know, and we train women and men, both companies. So yeah, that's in a nutshell, that's what we do.
So it sounds like, you know, it's obvious. It's unlocking the potential within people and empowering people.
Yeah.
But through doing that, you're also helping them to grow and develop, but also the industry itself.
Yeah.
So let's focus a little bit more on the industry itself.
Okay.
In your journey from where you started off as an apprentice, and I mean, you've been in the industry for quite a few years. You've dug the trenches, you've laid the pipes, and from our conversation that we had just before we started recording, it's obvious that you still do that, right?
Yeah.
But the fact is, you do that on top of, and more to it than that as well.
Yeah.
But certainly in your journey to where you are today, you've seen growth and development and change within the plumbing industry. I mean, if we think about what plumbing used to be a couple of 1,000 years ago, and how civilization today would have, you know, could they have survived with how plumbing was and what plumbing was then? What do you think about what you've seen changed in the plumbing industry, the growth, the development thereof?
So, Willem, it's a really exciting journey, and I think just from my perspective, I might not be as old as some of the guys in the industry, but I've been in this industry for 30 years. And when I first was an appy, I made a lot of mistakes. I was an apprentice. I dug trenches for a year. I chiseled and hammered for a year. And that's all I could do. My journeyman was tough. He was hard on me. And generally, you know, as an appy, I learned that I was on a journey. And I had to pay honor to becoming an appy. I was stuck in a company in Germiston, which I had to drive there every day, and I still had to be accountable, responsible. But you're young, so you make bad mistakes. And I had to learn all of those things. And obviously, being a journeyman, you learn how to plumb. But luckily for me, I was working for a company. My brother's wife's father had put me through this apprenticeship, and he was part of IOPSA back in those days, in 1989, that area. And I got to expose myself into big companies, so doing big plumbing. So hotels, shopping centers, complexes. We did a lot of work for Rand Water. So I had a journeyman. I had two journeymen. I had a youngster and an old 75-year-old. And I was exposed to earthenware pipes, lead piping, how to use the old copper connectors, how to do flashing, tough stuff that would hurt your hands, but you had to be an artist, you had to learn. And the guy that I had as a journeyman just taught me all the basics, but he taught me how to be special, how to be an artist. He taught me that, plumbing is not just about putting a pipe in. It's about designing the pipe.
Exactly.
It's about standing back and looking at the bigger picture. It's about how is the person that you're delivering the pipe to going to experience this beautiful water.
And what value they're going to get out of the service that you deliver to them.
So if you call it old school, I grew up in the old school, but things have changed. Things have evolved. I mean, we've gone from earthenware pipe to pitch fiber to PVC and now to HDPE. So already plumbing has evolved in 4 generations. And a lot of the empowerment that we do through teaching the companies and bringing on young black entrepreneurs into our sort of group is we teach them the journey of plumbing. So if they're looking at old house and they're looking at galvanized pipe, they know that it's 40, 50 years old. The question is that how has it evolved from galvanized and what is it now? And is it polycop or is it something that's not part of the standard and it's almost like we dissect, we investigate, we evaluate, we analyze, and we tell a journey and we tell a story. And we teach the guys is to do that. And then you can, you learn the basics. And then from there you can specialize. So you can go into what we do is sustainability, filtration. You can go into CCTs, inspection of drains, leak detection. You can go into heat pumps, gas, solar. I mean, whatever.
A lot of things that haven't existed in the past.
And we went into coaching.
Yeah. And that's one of the good things that I've derived from what you were saying just now. Is that, some of the things that have changed certainly are methods of how to do things, materials, type of tools that are used, a type of equipment that are used, products have changed. I mean, technology has evolved, but also certainly the way in which people are trained and people are helped to reach their potential and develop. I think there's a lot that we can still say about that, Duncan, but before we do, to our viewers, we're going to cross into a quick ad break. Please don't go away. We'll be right back right after this.
Good day. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm here to log in my COCs, but I seem to be having an issue with my computer.
No problem. But did you know that you can log your COCs using an app on your cell phone?
Oh, what app is that?
It's called the App Plumber. Do you have a smartphone with you?
Yes, I do.
Oh well, let me show you how it works.
Not only can you access your PRB profile on the App Plumber, but you can also earn CPD points while exploring the plumbing industry in the palm of your hand. Download the app from Google Play Store and join thousands of other happy users.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into a lekker episode of the Plumbing 101 show where Duncan Keil and myself are having a conversation about growth within the plumbing industry. Now, just before we went into the ad break, Duncan and I spoke about how things have changed, what plumbing looked like when Duncan, for instance, was an apprentice, and how that has changed and how that has moved on. Things have developed, technology has evolved, new equipment, new material, new technologies, new tools, new methods of doing things, as well as new ways through which plumbers can be trained and taught, and new things that they can be taught. Duncan, I like that part. I liked how you said what UPP does to unlock people's potential. You teach them those additional things to the technical and theoretical skills and knowledge that they need to gain to become qualified and proper plumbers. You also teach them things like life skills, business skills, and those kind of things, which just all in all contributes more to the person itself by unlocking their potential, but also to the development and the growth and the upliftment of the plumbing industry itself. How would you say, what is still needed for this? I mean, certainly with all of these new things that have come aboard, solar that now forms part of plumbing, heat pumps, those are all new technologies that have never been, which means the plumbing industry has grown, right? But what would you say, what else is needed for this industry, the plumbing industry, and the skill and the trade of the plumbing? And what is needed for it to grow more?
Thanks, Willem. That is a fantastic question, legendary question. and why I say that is because it's about leadership. And I think for me is that we don't have, when the young people of today look at the leaders that we have in the country, in our industry, in the world, we look at corruption, we look at, and we don't want to be those type of leaders. And I think in the industry right now, we need more people. So me being nominated a master plumber I'm not just a plumber now.
Yeah.
I'm not a licensed plumber.
Yeah.
I'm a plumber that has got the value. I'm a plumber that needs to add value back into the industry.
Yeah.
So I have a responsibility. I've taken ownership of it. And it's brought a bit of passion back into me. And I think for me now, I'd encourage all the other plumbers, licensed plumbers out there to understand, experience a bit of growth. Think about a vision of being a master plumber. Think of go beyond that even. And then take the example of us empowering other companies. Think of that model. And I think that's what our industry is lacking a little bit, is it's not about me and my company, it's about what I can do for the industry.
Yeah.
And I think when your mindset changes and you're thinking not about your own, there are a lot of guys out there today, a lot of master plumbers, and I can tell you there are lots of them, guys that are doing fantastic things in the industry. Step out, become a master plumber, be recognized, take it as its a designation, and then add value. Go and give back to the industry.
Yeah.
And I can tell you something now, there are lots of little areas and lots of young plumbers, young companies, entrepreneurial companies, women in business that all would love to learn and to experience that growth. So.
I like the fact that you're saying that, because it's true. There are leaders and then there are leaders, because there are good leaders and there are bad leaders. I mean, Hitler was a leader. People followed him, and people hung on his lips. And
he was an influencer.
He was an influencer. But what it was that he relayed to other people was not necessarily good and positive.
Yeah.
And it made a negative impact on the world. So we don't need those kind of leaders. We need good leaders with good values, good principles according to which they live, people who take pride in their trade and the industry, and for them to, like you said, plow back into the industry. But at the same time, it is also a fact of them realizing that, there's more to just being a plumber. Yes, you are a proud plumber, and yes, you are a professional within your trade. It is so, it's true. But still, there's more. Every one of us have unlimited potential. We must just reach for it and go and grab it. And that's why he said, reach for that. Become master plumbers. Make it a designation. Accept that responsibility, if you want, to say, now that you're in that leadership position, you can then pass that, your knowledge, your skills, and your whatever you have over to the other people, help them develop. And then again, that's how you plow back. That's how you help uplift the trade that you're in, the industry as a whole, not just people and individuals, because that's part of what's happening. That's part of what UPP does, is they're plowing back into people, giving them more than just the theoretical and the technical skills that they have already learned within the colleges that they attend, or the training schools that they attend,
100%.
but also the life skills. That's it's such an important thing. Good quality leaders, and the master plumbers, certainly it's one of those high up designations that people can work toward and take it with pride.
So I'll tell you a little integrate story with the master plumber, and there's 7 of us or 8 of us that have been recognized throughout the country, and part of our journey is to write a thesis. We are in the process of doing that right now, and my thesis is on leadership.
It's a thesis is like writing a
An
doctorate.
MBA,
Eh?
yeah. And think of it as like, oh, now a plumber must write a thesis. Like most plumbers go like, what the heck's a thesis? Like I had to Google what's a thesis. But you want to talk about growth? You want to talk about uncomfortable? You know. So, but yet I've taken it on, and with with my coaching and with sustainability and all of that, and women in plumbing. These are all new things to me. But I'm making a change. I'm stepping out of the boat and I'm doing these things. And leadership is so key to all of that happening. And even in writing the thesis, you've got to write a thesis about a problem in the industry. And then you've got to have a solution. So I won't reveal the solution yet because it's part of my thesis. But I'm sure when we start revealing our it's something I want to give back to the industry that they can utilize.
Yeah.
And they can, people can get trained on it and they can be helped to grow to that next level. And I think that's exciting for me. That's where I'm learning new things. I'm growing within myself. My confidence is growing. I'm having to speak and do talks and, but it's exciting. But it is what I'm talking right now is adding value to the industry. It's adding value to the guys out there. And they need that. They really need that inspiration. I talk about leadership. Leadership is influence.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Absolutely.
influence. That's it. That's what it's all
absolutely.
about. So.
Duncan, when it gets to the designation of a master plumber, that's the top of the top. That's the cream of the crop, and that's something to aspire to. That forms part of the PRB's designations when plumbers are registered with the professional body. How would you say the professional bodies and the industry bodies contribute or can contribute towards the growth in industry?
Well, they have already. I mean, they've produced me.
Yeah.
And I'm living within the industry. I'm thriving within the industry. I have, before I wasn't part of the industry. And I think that's the value that people don't really understand. They think, I'm a plumber, but I don't need to be a PRB registered. I don't need to be licensed. I don't need to be a master plumber. And I don't think, that's the kind of leadership that we want in the country. I think we need to look at being visionaries, looking into the future and saying, I want to be at this level. I want to be better. Because, beyond the master plumber, there's another plumber. There's the water wise, the water technical plumber, the sustainability, water treatment plants, filtration. I mean, you're getting to another level. And I think we must never stop at improving. We must never say, oh, this is who I am and I can. That's the box. And I think our industry has created those boxes because back in the days we had BIFSA and we had all of these professional bodies that were there growing us, and then all of a sudden for 10, 15 years there was nothing. And then PRB started to regulate and IOPSA have been around, but I think they're doing so much good work right now.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of things, and I think the more we get involved, the more we make effort to come together, we can only grow.
Absolutely. I think, when it comes to the investment that they are making back into the industry, these industry bodies, they are putting together programs. They are putting up, things like this show that we're having now to share information with the plumbers out there. It's part of the development. It's part of the upliftment and the growth to reach more potential and tell people and inform them, hey, there's something more that you can reach. And they've put together programs that people can follow and learn to upskill themselves. So there's so much that they
Upskill,
are doing.
huh?
Upskill,
Up.
yeah. UPP, upskill.
Uplift.
Listen, Duncan, upliftment. Duncan, there's a lot more that we can say, but to our viewers, we're going to cross over to another ad break quickly. So please don't go away. Do stay tuned because there is a little bit more when we come back right after this.
The PLUMBING Master Plumber Recognition Program has officially arrived. As an essential service to society, there must be constant growth and development within this important and ever-changing industry. Developed by the PLUMB, the Master Plumber Recognition Program has launched as a new PLUMB designation, allowing industry champions to take the lead. Skilled and experienced plumbers equipped to take the lead, enroll today to start your journey in becoming a recognized PLUMB Master Plumber.
Being part of an industry professional body is a personal decision.
To
to those who take pride in their trade, it stretches far beyond having a status of being licensed to issue certificates of compliance.
To them, the consumer matters.
As part of the plumbing industry, you help to bring the most valuable commodity to civilization. Water is life.
Be sure to continue to reap the benefits of being a proudly PIRB registered plumber by continually renewing your registration.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into another lekker, interesting conversation on the Plumbing 101 show with myself and Mr. Duncan Keil of the UPP Group. Now, in this episode, we're talking about growth. We're talking about growth of people. We're talking about growth in the plumbing industry, right? And just before we went into the break, we were talking about what aspects of the plumbing industry has changed over the years. Since 1,000 years ago, we've spoken about how it's grown and developed to what it is today, to what kind of plumbing we have today, what kind of training methods we have today, what kind of technology we use today. We've also spoken about personal growth. We've also spoken about other plumbers, teaching other plumbers to help them unlock their potential and them growing, and then in return getting the plumbing industry to uplift and grow. Duncan, throughout our conversation, we alluded to and we mentioned the term the master plumber, right? And you yourself, you spoke of that with pride when you mentioned it. The PRB, it created me as a master plumber, and we spoke about leadership, right? I saw your face lighten up when you spoke about the master plumber. Please tell us, what value does it carry to you, being a master plumber, and what do you think it can do for the industry if more people reach for that and become that?
Willem, very good question. But as a master plumber, I think even in our own UPP group and our coach up and how we deliver our values to the industry, we want to add value. I mean, that's our purpose. Unlocking plumbers' potential, people's potential. And everybody has that potential to grow from, a journeyman. It's a journey. So it's apprentice, journeyman, licensed, master, waterwise. You know what I'm saying? There's a lovely journey there. And I think for me, when you say I light up when I talk about master plumber, it's that I've realized for the first time in my life that I have a potential and I have a purpose, and I have a calling to add value to this industry. And the direction that we have taken is leadership and coaching and stuff like that. But within the industry, a master plumber has a designation that is required, a responsibility. We call it living above the line. It's OAR. It's ownership, accountability, responsibility. Because when you live below the line, it's the BED, bed, you're sick. Blame, excuse, denial. And we don't want to live in that. We want to be better than who we are. We want to be in awe. People want to look and, you know what I'm saying? And we use it through different ways. And we have a little saying in the business called the ships of life. Hardship, relationship, ownership, fellowship, worship, apprenticeship, and everybody has a little different ship that they're in.
Yeah.
It could be I'm in a rowboat and I'm leaning backwards and I'm rowing, but that's a little ship that you're in.
Yeah.
And to grow to a cruise liner or a bigger ship, you've got to work, you've got to grow, and you've got to expand, you've got to test yourself. So testimony is a test, and it's your story. It's a testimony. And the thing is, as a plumber, we all know that we go out there and we learn and we try and school fees. We pay school fees every day. But the question of being a master plumber is that you've been doing that for 30 years. You've been a leader in the industry. You know the challenges. You've worked on the construction sites. You know when a burst geyser happens. I've had so many stories over the years where I've had to give back. I've had to put people in hotels because water's leaking. I've had damages. I've had all of those things. But I think what I can give back now as a master plumber is I can create those long distances for people to be a little bit shorter. Give advice, give good advice. And I think for me, that's what a master plumber is. They really just want to add value to the industry and let that value, that leader that you create, more leaders, go and create more leaders.
Exactly.
And I think
pass the baton on to the
legacy.
the legacy. Leave your legacy behind.
That's it. And UPP is a legacy.
Somebody I know said a long time ago, it's not what you leave for your children when you pass on.
Yeah.
It's what you leave in your
them.
children.
That's
and it's exactly the same with the master plumbers. You know, by the time that they step out and they retire and they take their knowledge with them, it's not what they leave for them. They can leave them tools and a vehicle and a company with some, you know, stationery and furniture in the building or whatever the case may be. But what do they leave in them?
Yeah.
And I think that boils down to what the master plumbers and that pride they take to leave that legacy. But I want to thank you for the valuable information. I love chatting to you. I love chatting to you. It's just like, you know, we've been told we shouldn't elaborate too much because the two of us can chat for hours, especially about the growth of people, the upliftment of the industry and the people.
Definitely.
Thanks, Stack, for your time and your effort in having joined
You're welcome.
us.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
To our viewers, you please stay tuned because right after this, we're going to bring you some industry news. Have a good one.
Welcome back to the news. World Plumbing Day 2023 kicked the year off with a big bang. So, from the PIRB, we would like to extend our thanks to everyone who visited and took part in the day. This is to both merchants and plumbers. Your contribution to the industry is invaluable. But that's not all. World Plumbing Day saw the celebration for some of the industry's most hardworking and dedicated individuals. Awards for number 1 on the leaderboard, highest points on the day, the best collaborator, just to name a few, were handed out to our dedicated plumbers and merchants. And we would like to once again congratulate you. And lastly, the PIRB 2023 Roadshow is fast approaching. The PIRB will be in Kimberley on the 19th of April and then in Bloemfontein on the 20th of April. We hope to see you there. That's it for now. Until next time, bye.